Good morning and happy Thursday. Welcome to this week's Market of the Moment. Appreciate everybody who takes the time to join us each week. One announcement, this coming week, we're going to be doing things a little bit different. There is going to be a whole crew of us up at Inman, and so we're not sure because our flights are right around the time. Oh, look, my dog wants to say hi as well. So we are, yeah. The pool guy shows up right as we get started, of course. So it works out perfectly. But yeah, so we're going to be up at Inman. We might have a recorded version. That's going to be our goal, is to send some Inman highlight string this time. But we're not exactly sure how we're going to make it all work. But we got video people traveling with us and the whole thing. So, but anyway, oh my goodness, actually the video person I see walking right behind Amber right now. So he's sneaking up on you. So. All right, there he goes. He's quiet now. Good. All right. So anyway, so thank you for joining us this morning. We are so excited to have with us Mr. James Wilson and Justin Dols from the Curtis Johnson team. As you may have caught them on a previous episode of Market of the Moment, these guys bring some great energy, and we were talking about coaching then. We're starting our conversations now, getting into this fourth quarter, where we want to start talking about business planning. And James and Justin are part of a huge team, and they're going to throw some numbers at you, how many people that they're working with on their team. And I can't wait to dive in and talk about some of the ways you get that many people motivated and on track with the business plan. So fellas, thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're excited to be here.
Absolutely.
Again, I'm Justin. This is James. And, someone told me one time that, hey, Justin, you know how I know how you're rich?
How's that?
They said, you get the inside of your car clean.
Oh,
That's now I know that Don's rich because he's got a pool guy.
Oh, yeah.
We're super excited to be here. If you saw us last time we were on we had a really good time. I challenged James to demonstrate a roundhouse kick. We might get him to do it this time. I'm not exactly sure. Keep our fingers crossed. He might do it. But anyway, we're really excited because we know this time of year, usually real estate agents kind of get put in two buckets, right? There's kind of, what are the two buckets that get put in this time of year?
You've got those agents that have been blowing going for the last 9 months, and now they're kind of like saying, okay, I'm done. I'm hanging it up. I'm going to take the last quarter and just relax because, I'll start it back up in January. This is my vacation time. And that's camp one.
Yep.
Camp two are all those people that are saying, it is so amazing right now. I need a crank, man. I mean, get a bucket and a shovel. I found gold in my backyard. Let's go. Yeah. Let's get to work.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Those are the two camps.
I mean, there's Columbus Day. There's Halloween. There's sort of Election Day. What else is there? Thanksgiving. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that get in our way, right? Can get in our way this year, right?
Yeah. Hey guys, so yeah, and I can't wait to dive into these because you're right there, and I think that's a big important thing for us to talk about is that taking that fourth quarter off isn't always good for business for next year, right? So, so we're gonna jump into that in 1 minute here. I want to get through and introduce some of our other guests, and we have a special appearance. Sharon is not on the screen, as you guys can see. She's going to be joining us here in a moment and introducing somebody that we're really excited to have join us. So, but before we get to Sharon, I want to introduce Michelle Colbert with the Rise Real Estate team at Keller Williams Integrity First. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
We are so excited you're joining us. Michelle has been on as a guest, and she will be hopefully joining us this quarter talking about business planning as well. But she also does an amazing job of helping us understand what's happening in the market. And so Mindy is, as we mentioned previously, she's out most of this month. And so Michelle has been so kind to step in and provide us that market update. So we are excited for you bringing that, Michelle. Thank you. And then we have Miss Amber Kavar. We missed Amber last week, but she's back this week, full force. And I hear some rumors that, while you were out, Amber, there were some stories out there that interest rates may have crept up a little bit, but you may have been bringing them back down this week. So we're happy to have you back and appreciate your influence on the market.
Yes, of course. We'll talk about it. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so I'm so excited to get into with James and Justin, but before we do, I want to bring Miss Sharon Terhune on screen, and Sharon has a very special guest with her, and I'm going to hand off to Sharon and let her introduce Camille.
Well, gosh, this is so fun. It's like they're backstage, they're coming out, and here we are. And boy, James and Justin, I am so bummed that I'm not on this hour today with you guys, because I just know there's going to be a lot of laughs and a lot of fun and a lot of value. So I'll definitely be watching it later. And so thank you guys for being here. And Michelle, I know your updates are always great. So thank you for filling in here as well. And Amber, great to see your beautiful face here back with us too. And Amber's the mortgage goddess that gives us, like the most ridiculous updates because she knows the industry so well, and strategizes with her clients really to help make them more money and get deals closed. So thank you guys for being here. But I'm just here for a brief moment today because I want to introduce you to our newest Fidelity sales team member. I'm so excited to have Camille Johnson join our Fidelity East Valley sales team. Today is her first day. Camille, and I kind of put her on the spot. I said, we're getting on Facebook Live today. Woo! Exciting. So we are very excited to have her join us. She's been in the industry for many, many years in the East Valley, has a wonderful presence out there. I'm hoping that many of you watching this are going to be like, yay, Camille, thank you for coming over to Fidelity. I was waiting for you to go that direction. So, if you do know Camille, reach out to her. She's ready to go. We're going to get her trained up on all our wonderful resources, but she's here and excited and came today and with a beautiful smile on her face, ready to go. So welcome her to our team.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here and just thrilled to be part of Fidelity National Title. I feel giddy with excitement. I'm so happy. So I'm so excited to bring all my East Valley agents information about Fidelity. It's going to be great.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Because we're doing a little Halloween thing tomorrow, and I'm making her dress up. So, there's nothing worse than having somebody come join your company, and you're like, would you like to be a monkey or a munchkin?
I chose munchkin.
It's a weird question, I know. So everybody watch the Facebook for this because it's going to be fun. Anyway, thank you for letting me pop in here, Don.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and Sharon, thank you for taking some time out of your day. I know you guys are super busy getting Camille onboarded. Camille, we're so excited to have you as part of our team. You're going to do amazing things with us, and as Sharon mentioned, if you know Camille and we'd love if you reach out to her. I know we're going to get to spend some time to get together in a couple of weeks, Camille, and get out there and hit the streets, and we're going to have a great time out there and bring a lot of value to so many partners and so many new partners as well. So
yes, we are. Absolutely.
All right, ladies.
Have a great market of the moment.
Have a great day.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye.
All right, excellent. Well, that's exciting news for us. I don't know if you guys have ever met Camille in the past, but she's part of our team, and we've been so excited that she's joining us. So, okay, now let's shift back to James and Justin, and let's talk about those buckets. But I think you guys were on something really really important, and I've heard it said, I've witnessed it myself, where people they slide into that fourth quarter. We jokingly refer to Thanksgiving as the end of the real estate season in Arizona, and that it doesn't typically begin again until midway through January, sometimes the third week of January, when we actually see things kicking back up again. However, we know, and I know from working with Michelle and working with Amber and working with you guys, those people who go out and hit things hard in that fourth quarter, don't take that season off, they have so much more success with that first quarter money because they've already hit the ground running. So I think that's where you guys were leaving off. So let me hand back off to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think after Sharon went, Camille's great. We've known her for a while. She's an awesome addition for sure. But I think the real question is, so if you had a choice, is it Munchkin or Monkey? What are you going to dress up as?
I guess Munchkin, because I'm not.
Well, I mean, you got to do Lollipop Guild, right? Yeah. I mean, that's the only option.
Right.
You can't be the mayor. You got to be the Lollipop Guild.
For sure.
But yeah, there's really two buckets like we got into. Absolutely. So people that, start taking time off, and Don's right. Thanksgiving used to be kind of typically when a lot of real estate agents started mailing it in for the rest of the year. And we noticed it turned into election was when people started mailing it in, and now it's starting around around Halloween.
Yeah.
That people start mailing it in. It's even starting earlier and earlier. And go ahead.
Well, the thing about it is, guys, that there's 74 days left still in the year. And so if you're not keeping up with the times, I mean, we've got a ton of the Wall Street iBuyers that have paused things because of their inventory. And now you got this passing lane where you can get out there, get in front of listing inventory, get in front of buyers that need help, or you can just sit on the couch and catch up on your Netflix. And so one of the things that's really key to having a great 2022 is setting yourself up right now, because this is a 60 to 90-day business. I mean, I meet somebody today and they go through the pre-qual, they go through touring homes and that whole process. And right now I'm working on my kind of Christmas and January money. And so if you take time off now, you're not even going to be starting your business until January 15th, which means you're not getting escrows until March. And so it's a big chain reaction. You don't want to get behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think James talked a little bit earlier that if you've been turning and burning all year and you've had a great year, maybe even exceeded your expectations, we're not saying you don't deserve to take time off. Absolutely not. We all need time to recharge. Sure. And maybe your business can withstand, not doing anything and kind of having it on autopilot the rest of the year. But who we're really trying to dial into is the people that maybe didn't have the kind of year they wanted, or they're just barely where they're at. That if they take the rest of the year off, the beginning of 2022 is going to be painful. Mainly because, why? I mean, it's a 60, 90, 120-day business, right? So the appointment that I set this morning, that's an escrow that's going to close January, February, March. And if we don't spend time in November, December planting and getting ready for the harvest in the spring, we won't have anything to harvest.
Yeah, and remember, the thing about it is we got to remember the context. I mean, for the last 18 months, I mean, we've been kind of hustling through the pandemic, and so many deals got sidelined, and we've missed more time from working our business than we ever have in any other time period. And so in my mind, even if you're only working, say, 20 hours a week, and we really work with our team, 43 agents, and our motto is we sell houses, right? And so everybody is always having an escrow, and we're training and holding accountability and metrics and partnership meetings to get an escrow a week. And so we have some people that absolutely 15, 20 hours a week, they know their numbers. And that's what this is about, planning your year and knowing what your numbers are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And James touched on it a little bit too with the iBuyers, some of the iBuyers pausing and stuff like that. And I think there are inevitably going to be real estate agents that are going to take time off starting now until the end of the year. So it is a super duper passing lane. It's like the Autobahn here in our city.
There you go.
Right? It's the Autobahn just for us, right? That we have that opportunity to pass and pick up some extra deals and really start 2022 off on the right foot. Don?
Yeah. I think that's such an important point, right? So we've seen what happened with Zillow this week. I know of some other institutions that are also not on as long of a pause, but they've also paused right now as they're retooling some things. And so there's definitely that window, right? And that's great, right? That we can look at that and we say there's opportunity. However, all those other people who aren't working through the fourth quarter, then there's opportunity for us there too, because there's less competition. There's also less competition for our buyers when we're trying to get them into houses, because this is traditionally a time of year where other people are like, okay, well, they start in other parts of the world that aren't real estate. People start shelving things till the beginning of next year. So our buyers who want to get out there and look at homes now, that there's less competition, there's less other buyers out there. So it's just such a great window of opportunity on all of these fronts.
Yeah, and even to take that a little bit deeper, in some ways, between now and the end of the year and even into January, this is almost really the best time to buy and sell, because this is when the serious buyers and sellers are in the market. So if someone has their house on the market now, between now and the end of the year, obviously they're serious. They're not putting it off till the holidays are over. If a buyer is out looking right now between now and the end of the year, they're serious. So there are a ton of opportunities to put these serious buyers and sellers together between now and the end of the year, and even into the beginning of January. This is kind of like what we've been waiting for, right? Serious buyers and serious sellers.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing, if we absolutely knew that prices were going to go down, and none of us have a crystal ball. I know Amber's going to do a great job here in a bit, but but we don't have a crystal ball. And if I knew, like this last weekend, by my house, Quick Trip gas was $3.27 a gallon. Last night it was $3.40 a gallon, less than 7 days. So if I knew real estate prices were going to jump up 10 or 11% in the next week, I'd want to go buy right now before they go up. And if I knew they were going to go down, I would just wait. And there's so much uncertainty with the interest rates, with the economy, with all the political climate going on. Yeah. And so having a solid business plan is critical. And one of the things that we want people on our team to understand and everywhere is just get really clear on, okay, so are we working on a sales volume goal? Like I want to hit 25 sales. I want to help 50 families. I want to help 100 families. Or are you working on an income goal?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
they dovetail together, but so many people aren't really sure what they're trying to do. So you kind of have to start with that. Okay, so am I trying to make a sales volume goal or a dollar income goal? And you can approach it either way, but you've got to get really clear on some of the sub steps to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's think about it outside of the real.
Uh-oh. Oh, they were on a roll and now they got frozen. Well, okay, so hopefully this will self-correct here in a moment before we lose James and Justin. So, but I think what's really important about what they're talking about though is that there's. Oh, you're back.
Yep, and you guys missed the roundhouse kick. He just did it
go.
over in the corner, and you guys totally missed it. So I'm sorry. Well, next time we'll get it. Next time we'll get it. But what I'm kind of going into is we all need to make the decision. And I think if you're watching this right now, and I know the people that are on with us, right? Michelle, Amber, Don, you guys treat it like a business. So hopefully the people that are watching this, they treat this like a business. And if we take it out of context with real estate and look at it as a business, we like to joke with, hey, if you have a hamburger shop, right, you own a McDonald's. Yeah. Do you have a plan? Do you have a business plan? Do you track what you do or not? And of course the answer is
no, I just wing it.
Well, but in the hamburger shop, well, you do, right? You know exactly.
Absolutely, because we've got to have a forecast, right? And so one of the things that's really key is getting really clear on, okay, so what is the market that I serve? What's the average home sales price in the market that I'm serving? And what are the average commissions I can expect to earn? So, you know, it's always in flux. You know, if you're a buyer's agent versus a seller's agent, these have an impact on what your income's going to be. And I remember we were talking yesterday about we had somebody in the fourth quarter, and they were committed to selling 4 more homes, and you said, okay, so how many escrows does that mean? And their answer was 4. Why is that? Well, how could that be? Like, you think every escrow is going to close? Like, that just doesn't happen in the real world.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the funnel. We're going to talk a little bit about breaking that down. But like James said, we got to start with the end, right? So any good TV show, any good movie, any good story, they already know what the end is, right? And they work their way back. Now, some may say Game of Thrones, they didn't actually have an ending and they came up with it on the fly, but I don't know. But anyway, so you got to know the end. So like James talked about, is your end goal a year from now, 13 months from now, a certain amount of sides closed, meaning families helped, or is there a certain dollar amount you want to work towards? And either one is okay. You got to figure out which makes the most sense for your business. So if it is, let's just use a dollar amount. Let's say it's a dollar amount. Sure. So if we the old adage of how do you eat an elephant, right, is
one bite at a time.
One bite at a time. Yep.
Yeah, same thing, right? Same thing. So let's start at the end, and we'll work our way backwards so they can become bite-sized chunks that are really easy to handle and don't seem overwhelming. Because January 1st, if I say I want to make $100,000 next year, it seems really daunting. Like, how am I going to get there? Right?
It can, depending on your perspective, right?
Right,
I mean, if
exactly.
you've been in real estate 6, 8, 15, 20 years, you may think, well, what, you're only going to work 3 months? I mean, $100,000, that's like nothing. But if you're newer or you're moving or you just, came into the area, it can be a little daunting if you haven't, met with Fidelity, you haven't ramped up your marketing program, you don't have hooks out in the marketplace.
You don't have a plan, right?
You don't have a plan.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, let's take that. I want to make a certain amount of money this year. So how can we kind of determine, James, how that turns into, well, then how many closings do I need to have to make that money?
Yeah. Well, again, like I said, you got to get clear on what's the average home selling price and what's the average commission. You got to get specific. Am I working with buyers or am I working with sellers? If I'm working with sellers, I have a little bit more control over my time and the inventory, right? I have the listing, then pretty much if it closes, I can get paid.
Yeah.
If I have buyers right now and I'm competing with 10 or 12 offers, and thank goodness it's not 50 offers anymore,
Right.
But still, I got to do twice the work on average.
Yeah.
And so I got to get really clear on, okay, am I going after buyers and sellers, or what's the mix, 70, 30, 50, 50, whatever. But why don't you walk us through the funnel?
Well, real quick before that, and as we look at those numbers, the people that have been the most successful on our team that we've coached, the ones that, I don't want to say do what we say, but just, really follow the coaching, is they're super specific, right? So how many sellers am I going to close next year? How many buyers am I going to close this year? What's the average sales price going to be of the sellers? What's the average sales price going to be of the buyers? Because we know that in most cases, the sellers usually close for an average price higher than the buyers. That's just how history is. So we got to know that, and then we got to get even more clear on what's my average commission amount going to be. So from the seller standpoint, we can have more control over how much commission we get on the seller side because of how much we charge as a listing agent. The buyer side, that's a little bit more in flux. You got to factor in what the co-brokes are. We know a lot of those have gone down through the MLS, but of course there are other ways to make money other than the co-broke on the buyer side. But getting really specific on my average sales price and then what my average commission is going to be. So then that way, what you can do is you can back that in to figure out how many deals do I need to close for the year. And then you can start breaking them down into months and into months and then even into weeks, right?
Yeah, does that make sense?
I have a quick question before we get into those mechanics of the breakdown. Can you tell us a little bit about the process of, like, do you sit down with agents one-on-one with the team members, or is this a group function? Is it a combination of both? What does it look like? 43 people is a lot of people to meet with and to put these kind of numbers together with. So where does that start?
So typically we'll do a group function, and to be, have continuity and have consistency, the conversation and the training or coaching, if you will, is exactly the same at every step. So we'll typically have a group setting. What we'll do is we'll have that same information available through a video, so then they can check it out. They can look at it after to kind of, because, most people, we all need to see things like 7 or 8 times before we even get 60% of it, right?
Yeah.
So we want to go through the group thing where they're kind of going through and they have a document that they're using to figure out their numbers and their ratios. And then we have a video for them to follow up with. And then the third step would be actually doing a one-on-one with them. We do regular coaching sessions with our agents, some every week, some every 2 weeks. So we'll incorporate that into one of our coaching sessions about what they're going to do. And then that way we can also have a great conversation about, hey, these numbers for 2022, how are they compared to your 2021 results? Right? Are they the same, different, more or less? And then, of course, if they're more, then we get that opportunity to have that conversation about, well, what are you going to do different in 2022, knowing now what you know about what you did this past year? What are some changes or adjustments, like we like to call them, that you're going to make to really hit those numbers in 2022?
Yeah, and what I love about the process is not only do we do a group function, but we get to the one-on-one level, but then we also work with people to get clear on commitments. Like, what can we as a partner count on you to deliver to the bottom line? We absolutely work in a group where everybody sells houses, but not only do they want to have goals and commitment, goals and whatnot, but again, that commitment, and we get them to work and enroll their partners at home. So their family, the kids, their spouse, if they're on track with their numbers, they're planning the vacation and they've got, vision boarding, and they've got that everybody enrolled together and understand. So why is mommy and daddy busy hustling at night or on the weekends or doing open houses or door knocking or phone calls? Why are they working so hard? Let's all get on the same page.
Yep, absolutely. So, so again, we've established now at this point, what are they looking to do? How many closings are they looking to have? And then again, in an effort to work backwards, we know there's a lot of steps from when you start working backwards. So we have our super high-tech visuals here today.
Yeah, I think the Justin Dols art project is going to be the best part of this whole thing. So we're looking forward to this whole time, Justin.
Yeah, we're going to get a solid D- on this thing, so that's great. But if we look at things as a funnel, right? Because we always talk about sales funnels and stuff. We know that the top is always going to be bigger than the bottom. So we're going to start with our closings. and we're going to back it up from there. So deals that close, what's before closings? Accepted
Well,
contracts.
I need to
and
have an
escrows,
accepted
right?
contract. Yeah.
Right. So before that is escrows, right? So we have that a little bit higher on there. So again, these are going to be awesome visuals. What's before escrows?
Well, I know for me, I need to open negotiations,
Yep.
right? Got to negotiate the terms of a deal.
Yep,
Got to
so we're
get an
gonna-
accepted contract.
Yep. So we're going to write offers and open negotiations.
Absolutely.
So again, as you notice, we get higher up on this funnel, it gets bigger, right?
Yep.
The numbers get bigger.
That's the plan.
Because if we think about like we talked about with the person we talked to before, I'm going to get 4 escrows. I'm going to have 4 buyers. They're going to go under contract, all 4 of them, and 4 of them are going to close. Well, we know that doesn't happen.
Yeah, not in the real world. Generally doesn't happen. So one of the things that's really important is we're tracking at each level, right? So if I'm going to get an accepted offer, I've got to write offers or open negotiations. But before that, I've got to tour homes. So I got to keep track of, right? So how many tours am I doing today? How many did I do yesterday? How many did I do last week? And before I can tour homes, I got to have people that agree to work with me. So how many clients am I actually getting them to agree that I'm going to be their realtor and we're going to be loyal and committed to each other? If we're going to go steady. Like if I found a great deal, if I found an amazing opportunity to buy a property, who should I call? Do I call all, 3,000 people on my list, or do I call the, 15 or 20 that have actually gone into a written agreement and said, hey, I want to go steady. You're going to be my main realtor.
Yeah, absolutely. So now if we put that all into context in a full funnel, right? We start at the top, right? We got the top, it's calls or, attempts, right? So maybe it's a call, maybe it's an email, video email, and then we have spoke with. How many people am I speaking with, right? And then after that, I missed it a little bit. So after spoke with, the most important one is the asks.
Yeah.
How many people on a daily basis are you asking to meet? Now, these are new appointments. These aren't people that have already agreed to work with us. How many buyers have you asked to meet to go look at homes and learn about your buyer value?
Yep.
How many sellers have you asked to meet to talk about their home sale and let them know what you can do to sell their home, right? So asks are super important, probably the most important metrics that we found that if you measure and you're really dialed into that, everything else typically plays into it. So after ask, then how many appointments did you set? We suggest 3 to 5 appointments a week if you want to close a home a week. Then how many did you actually hold? Because we all know some get canceled, some get rescheduled, some they will go with another agent or whatever. And then how many people agree to work with you, right? They sign a listing agreement, they sign a buyer broker agreement. And then how many people do you get out showing homes with? On the buyer side, on the seller side, how many showings do you have on the listing, right? And then how many offers do you generate or are generated on your listing? And then how many escrows do you get? And then how many closings? So you can see the top numbers will never be the same as the bottom numbers. That's just something we got to understand because that's just science, as they say. Trust the science.
Yeah.
Right? So they're always going to be larger on top. So if you want to have 10 closings this month, you probably got to have 15 new escrows.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you probably got to have 20 to 30 offers written.
So this is what I like about your funnel, and I like about this whole thing is, right, we illustrate every step. And it starts with calls, right? So, but it could be calls, it could be open houses, it could be whatever our lead gen is, right? Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Right.
Think about it with conversations. How many conversations are you having with people about real estate?
Yep.
Right. And we all know that the fastest way to people is picking up the phone and calling, and so that's always a great way, but it's also, you have to understand the numbers around each one of these activities as well. If you are making calls, when I talk with people and I coach people around making calls, it's funny because everybody's like, okay, cool. And they make 4 calls and I'm like, oh, nobody wants to talk to me. Oh, this is but understanding the numbers, if you go in understanding the numbers, that you have to make X amount of calls to have so many contacts and so many contacts you have to when you understand those numbers and you're working backwards through those numbers, it all gets easier, right? If I know that I have to make 100 phone calls to get an appointment, then I know that, okay, well, I've got 96 left to go after those 4. So that I am now closer, but I just need to keep pounding the phone. So
one of the things that we work with our agents on is we focus on the asks. I don't care if you make phone calls, you want to go door knocking, you want to do open houses, you want to do handwritten notes, you want to farm. Doesn't matter to me. You want to get an escrow a week, you've got to get 15 asks for an appointment because we need to generate 3 to 5 appointments set. so that you can actually be getting a new client every single week. And it's a matter of time. If you control the leading edge indicators, you control those numbers on the front, you put it all on the top of the funnel, you'll get the numbers on the back end. Now, you do have to have an idea on what your numbers are. Like you're saying, if you're only going to make 4 calls, your metrics are going to be totally out of whack. But if you know, hey, if I get 15 asks this week, at least those are our numbers we're training our folks to. Yeah, there's agents that get 3 asks a week, and I'm working with someone and they're getting coached to get 15 asks a week. That means it takes you 4 weeks to do what we're getting someone to do in 1 week. It's no wonder why they're selling 3 or 4 times the number of homes you're selling, because they're doing 4 times the work.
Yeah, so we got to get clear on the laws of real estate. The things that are they're the laws of real estate. The first one is, do you believe that real estate's random or controllable?
Yeah.
Right? There are some things that are absolutely not controllable. As Amber's going to talk about a little bit later, we can't control interest rates. Nothing we can do about it. Inventory, most likely we can't control it either. But what are the things we can control? And if we also get real and serious, AT&T will tell you 90% of phone calls go to voicemail.
Yeah.
So if we just understand that's just the game we play, kind of like, hey, if I want to run a 5-minute mile, there's a certain training program I got to go on to make it happen. That's just how it is.
Yeah, and if you embrace it, you need to embrace it. Like, I love it when I get voicemail, because now I've got, I got 10 seconds to leave a little commercial about why they should call me back, as opposed to, they don't know I called. They're never going to hear from me. They're screening their calls. So there's a couple of key metrics you need to know at a real high level. Number one, how many asks do you get a week? Again, for us, we're working on 15 asks a week if you want to get an escrow a week. Number two, are you setting 3 to 5 appointments a week? If you're not, you're probably not going to get an escrow a week. And if that's not your goal, like if you're not committed to an escrow a week, great. Maybe you want 2 a month. Maybe you want 1 a month. Great. Adjust your numbers. The next thing is you got to be really, really clear on, do you have a quality offer that stands apart from everybody else in the business? Because, we've got, almost 190,000 licensees. Everybody has a lockbox, can unlock the door. Why should I work with James over Justin and vice versa? So I got to be clear on that. Here's the kicker, guys. We plan on only a 10-month year. A lot of people miss this, a 10-month year. Why is that? Well, again, you got sick, you got holidays, you got my dog needs me, my wife needs me, you got vacation. So a 10-month year, because you want to amp up what is that conversion, and you may not track your numbers today. This is probably one of the key factors. People don't know what their metrics are.
Yeah, so again, what's so great is that if we start from the end and we work backwards, we can break it down to what do you need to do on a daily basis. And then you can decide, hey, how many days do I want to work in a week? Am I a 7-day person?
Yep.
Which even God wasn't 7 days. Am I a 6-day person?
No.
Am I a 5-day person? Am I a 4-day person? And then you can break those down into, hey, what do I need to do each day?
Yep.
Right? So if our people on our team that are following the 15 asks a week numbers, and they're going to work a 5-day week, they just need to find 3 people a day and ask them to meet new people. And if they just do that, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's got to be consistent.
Let's get together and I'll show you how I can help you buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Are you available in the afternoon or the evenings? Real simple. Ask for an appointment.
Yep, absolutely. So anybody watching this, if they want to get really clear on what are the ratios and how those numbers would look, they could just reach out to us, find us on Facebook and reach out to us. We could hop on a quick call or a video thing, and we can kind of help you with your numbers and your ratios. But yeah, like James said, to kind of sum that up, the asks are super important. You got to focus on the ask, because that is what you can control. Yep. Can you ask people to meet, right? 3 to 5 appointments set a week. And then, of course, when you meet with them, having some sort of value to work with us other than just, I can open a door and open a lockbox.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love the new agents that come to me and we say, okay, so what's your offer? And they go, well, I really listen to my clients. And I go, awesome. That's like saying I go to a restaurant and they said, thanks for coming in today. By the way, we just want to let you know we actually use soap when we wash the dishes. Like, oh my God. I expect you to use soap when you wash the dishes. Yep. What are you talking about?
No, we charge a little extra because we use soap. We use hot water when we wash them.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's nothing out of the ordinary. Yep. So, go ahead.
No, I just think that that messaging is a really big piece of what we need to make sure that we are carrying through in those conversations. Everything from, so why me? What am I doing that's, so getting, but and I've spent a lot of time who are getting ready to get ready. And you know, that's one of those things that you
Yep.
just have to put behind you in this business, right? You have to be somebody who's not afraid to fail forward, and you know, and picking up those phones. And you know, when we talk about the conversion rates on the phones, or whether it's door knocking or open houses or whatever it is that we're doing, that our ratio is going to be lower. Our conversion rates are going to be lower in the beginning.
Mhm.
As
Yeah.
we get experience, as we get practice, then those ratios get better. It gets easier. Those asks become easier. Our conversion rates become better. But you know, we're in the baseball playoffs right now, right? Those guys who are out there playing, Cody Bellinger, he didn't wake up one day and said, okay, now I'm going to be good at baseball.
Yeah.
You know, he practiced his entire life and to be good at baseball. So it's important that you know, we do that practice, and we practice live, right? We practice on the phone live. We practice in open houses. I know with your team, you guys do like team open houses at times.
Yep.
I think that's great because you get to see the person who, you know, we talk about the R&D of real estate, rip off and duplicate. I see James is doing something great, then I start emulating James and trying to do what James does.
Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely. As your skills get higher, then the numbers change. They absolutely change. So James is really great on the phone. So the amount of asks he needs to set an appointment is way different than someone that just came out of real estate school and has never been in sales, right? It's just absolutely what it is. So
Yeah, and that's why who you surround yourself matters. So the thing about it is like right now we're doing 4 30-minute script practices a week, where people get 2 hours a week of opportunities. They can come for 30 minutes and then get practice the scripts. And we have the scripts are published for our team. We're working all on the same pitch, so the conversation is the same. We got a live open house training, and we actually not only do it for our team, we invite tons of other agents in the industry to come participate in that. And then we're doing another 3 hours a week of drill for skill on the buyer presentation, the seller presentation. But all that won't matter if we don't ask 15 people a week to meet.
Yeah,
it won't matter if I don't get 3 to 5 appointments a week. And those appointments can be your sphere. They could be your coworkers, your neighbors. We don't really care. Get them out into a house. Let's make it happen.
Talk about real estate, and then the universe rewards you.
Yep.
If you're a secret agent, then the universe isn't going to reward you. So, so back to Don's question you had a while ago. So yeah, we do a big group get together. We talk about our declarations. We have a form for people to use with ratios and things where they can just plug in numbers. We have them go through it again on their own through a video, like a replay. Then we do the one-on-one with them, and they have it on a piece of paper that turns out to be a declaration, right? It turns out to be a declaration of what I'm going to do next year. And then what we can do on our end is we can plug those numbers in to our online tracking system called CTE, stands for Commitment to Excellence. And then as they go throughout the year and they start entering their numbers into the system, then they can gauge and they can manage. Am I on track?
Yeah, what are my
ahead?
metrics? What's my conversion? Am I ahead of my calls? Am I behind in my ask? It's an amazing tool, just like any budget, anything else you do anywhere in life. If you're going to be a business owner, you got to know your numbers and run it like a business.
So I'm going to do a quick screen share for just a real quick minute. I'll kind of show you what our thing looks like from tracking. All right, let's see. Hopefully this works.
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to work.
We don't want your shopping list.
No, exactly. So can you guys see my file I got here, Don?
There we go. We got it.
Awesome. So here's a couple of quick screenshots. These are some things we track. How many asks are people having? How many top 4? So that's really important too as you back in.
Are you planning the day?
Are you planning your day? We call it our top 4, where you plan your day about what's important for you to get done that day. So that's kind of a screenshot of those stats. And of course, we track buyer dials, how many people we talked to, how many nurture conversations, how many appointments did we set, hold, and sign for sellers. Same thing on the buyer side. How many did we set? How many did we hold? How many did we sign? How many offers have been written? How many times we've been out showing? And then how many open houses have we been a part of? So that's just kind of a back end of what we can see. There's, of course, a lot of other reports that we can pull, from that to get dive deeper in with people as we look at their one-on-ones and their coaching sessions. But yeah, we track it all. And then that way, again, they can see as they go throughout the year, how am I doing? Am I on track? Am I ahead of pace? Am I a little bit behind? And then the numbers are the numbers, right? Then it's not like, well, I feel like I'm talking to a lot of people. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, are you asking a lot of people to move?
So back in the early days of Don in the title industry, I would do a lot of home tours, and I would spend time. I'd have a list of people that had listings in the areas that I wanted to do the tour in, and I'm like, okay, So now I've got my 2-3 hours set aside for making calls. And I would be, just on my phone, and I'm like, making the calls, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've done so many. I feel like I probably called like 40 people. I've only talked to one person. Exactly. I go through my outbound calls. I'm like, 1, 2, 6. I only made 6 calls, and
two of them were to your mom, right?
Right.
So again, planning your day is super important. So that's even kind of the last step. Once you have broken down on day by day, what should you be doing to get to wherever you want to get to, then leverage some sort of daily planning. Again, we call it a top 4 on our team. What are 4 things you can do today that are going to move your business forward? 2 of them typically are related to finding new business, spending time doing that, phone prospecting, open houses, door knocking, farming, things like that. And then there's other ones that are important things that you need to get done.
Yeah, like show a home, write an offer, go on an appointment. Yeah. Those are important.
Prepare for an appointment. Yeah, write an offer. Exactly. Things like that. That they're important. But again, if we're not prospecting regularly, then we're gonna run out of blood in the life.
Yeah, I'll just get really, really clear. If the opportunity was I either go on an appointment or I do my prospecting calls, the number one priority is to make my calls. That is way more important than even going on the appointment, because I need an appointment tomorrow. I need an appointment next week. In addition to the one I have today, I can move the one I have today, but I got to get my calls in.
Yep. And really having that mindset of how can it be an and versus an or, right? So we want to be so, for some reason in our mind, we're always all or nothing, right? So, all right, so I need to do these prospecting calls from 9 to 11 today. Oh, but I got to out-of-state buyers in. So, I got to go show them homes.
Yeah.
Well, it depends, right? Can you show them based upon your schedule, and can you be the master of your schedule and put them in when you need to put them in? So there's probably about 5 or 6 other things that people would like to have us do right now.
Yeah.
But we're like, no, we need to be on this call with Don. This is important to us.
I have an appointment right now. I have some time at 1 o'clock.
This is what I'm doing. Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of times in our mind, we don't think we can fit it in, but we can. And if we master our schedule and we set appointments on our schedule and our time, it's so freeing and it's so strong, and your business is really going to flounder. So that's kind of really all we got for that. If you guys have any quick questions you want to hit on, we'll dial on those, and then otherwise we'll turn it back over, and then we'll kind of rest up for the next one.
Yeah, well, listen, you guys are always the easiest interviews I ever have. So I really do appreciate that. I really do want to thank you guys for taking the time to be on here, and I'm going to make an offer for you guys, which I forgot to ask you if it's okay beforehand. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume it's okay. So if there's people watching this who want help, who are hearing what we're talking about and they don't really know how to get there, reaching out to you guys, even if they're not on your team, if they're not part of the brokerage, that is still 100% okay. That you guys are advocates for the real estate community, and you want to see people succeed, and having that opportunity to sit with folks and go through this process with them is an opportunity to help somebody in our business. So is that okay if I'm making this offer for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want, just make sure our names are in the Facebook post, obviously. But find us on Facebook, send us a private message, either of us, both of us, whatever. And then like I said, we'll pop on a phone call. We can pop on a meeting like this, Zoom, Google Meet, whatever, and kind of give you guys some pointers and some.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're doing open house training tomorrow. We always have a training calendar. We love to have people. We're committed to raising the level of professionalism in the industry. It doesn't matter where you work. Let's do a cross sale. Let's work together.
Let's do this.
Excellent. All right, fellas. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Appreciate the energy. If you need to get a hold of James and Justin, feel free to reach out to me, reach out to Sharon, reach out to Amber, reach out to Michelle. We all are connected, and we can make sure that we get you plugged in. So again, thank you guys so much. We're going to now talk about money. And I guess we've kind of talked about money already, but we're going to talk about Amber's money, which is some of our favorite money. And so Amber, what's going on out there? What's happening in the mortgage world?
Yeah, and James and Justin, it's such a pleasure to have you on again for the second time. I feel like I could run through a wall after listening to you talk. So thank you for that. I feel like everything that you coach your agents on, it's the thing. It's the numbers. It's taking it from being emotional to being tactical, and they're really lucky to have you. So that's super awesome. Unfortunately, in the interest rate world, I'm not going to come out with some good news today that I've been able to lower the interest rates. We are still seeing a trend of rising interest rates. And yesterday was the 2-week mark prior to the Fed meeting happening on November 3rd, where it is very likely that the Fed will announce their tapering plan. And if you look back to 2013, 14, when is the last time we had a tapering situation like this, the lead up to the tapering announcement was when we saw the largest impact on interest rates. And so more than likely, as we lead up to that announcement in 2 weeks, we'll probably see this trend of increasing interest rates. And then no one knows for sure what will happen after that meeting. If you look back in time and that 2013-14 timeframe, interest rates did get better after the tapering announcement because they did go up so much prior to. So we may be in for a little bit of a wild ride. A lot of it's going to depend on the economic reports that are coming out. Today we had the weekly jobless claims, which came in better than expected, 6,000 claims lower than last week. At 290,000, the market was predicting 300,000. So the employment numbers are getting better. Less people are filing for claims as the enhanced unemployment benefits have gone away. So we're starting to see the labor market tighten up. And if we continue to see COVID cases declining, that will probably further cause interest rates to go up. So be prepared. We're likely in an increasing environment, but we're still talking interest rates in low threes. I mean, we're still historically low. And so that's the conversation of like, it is still an incredible time to be buying because I believe that home prices are going to continue to go up. I believe that interest rates are likely going to go up to, probably stay in this range of low threes, mid threes. Incredible time to be taking advantage of it and not to get wrapped up in what was. Like, it's so hard to do that, but we're not at 2.875 right now. So we're at 3.25. Oh my gosh, still incredibly low. Like, go get the house. You're not buying the house because the interest rate has a 2 in the front of it. So just lots of communication around it, but we'll keep you posted as we get more information on the Fed tapering. Yeah. Question.
Yeah, so quick question for Amber, and this is something, hopefully your answer will help a lot of us out here have more conversations with other people. So what's more impactful on a monthly payment, when the interest rates go higher or when the prices go higher?
Yeah, I mean, we typically are going to see that the prices are going to have much larger impact. So as we see home prices going up, that's going to impact someone's payment. When you couple it with interest rates, it's a double whammy, but it takes so much more down payment money to get a monthly payment down as home prices are rising. So the sooner that you can lock into that home price, the better off that you're going to be.
Yeah, and Amber, thank you so much for that. I think that we always talk about the best time to buy a house is now, or the best time to buy a house was yesterday. The second best time is now, right? Yeah. So, but the reality is that as we see all of these changes, we don't know what the future holds, right? We spoke a little bit earlier about some of the big institutions, some of the iBuyers backing out right now. So what does that mean for inventory? What does that mean for opportunities in our market? And that there's going to be the fact that the houses are probably going to be more expensive tomorrow, then they're going to be more expensive the next day, and they're going to be more expensive the next day. That taking advantage of what we have right now is what we believe to be our best option. Interest rates, we're going to see some ups and downs over the next few months, but these are still crazy low rates, so we're talking 3.25. That is so inexpensive for owning or for having a mortgage. It's crazy. I remember the very first house I bought it at 5.95%, and I was like a late bloomer in house buying, but at 5.95%, and I bragged to everybody about my 5.95% rate, and I was so excited about it. So the reality is that there's these forces that we can't control, which the guys were referring to earlier, right? We can't control inventory, we can't control interest rates. So what we can control is when we're making our decisions and when we're taking advantage of what's in front of us. So thank you for the update, appreciate it, and we'll be watching to see what's happening here in these next couple of weeks. So November 3rd is the date the Fed meets. So we are back on November 4th, I believe, So so we'll be able to have a great conversation around that then. So thank you. Michelle, have you gotten us any more inventory? How's that looking out there?
Actually, it has gone up a little bit, which is the good news.
There we go.
One thing that I found interesting was that the average price per square foot was actually not as good this September compared to last September. And that's because closings in the Northeast Valley are actually down 16%. So that's kind of the higher, more like expensive part of the greater Phoenix area is the Northeast Valley. That's Scottsdale, Cave Creek, Carefree, Fountain Hills, all of those areas. So those were down 16%. But the Southeast Valley, so down here in Gilbert, Chandler, everything was actually flat. So it didn't really go up or down. Central and North Valley was actually up 13%, and the West Valley home prices actually went up 10% last month. So overall, the valley looked like it had a depreciation, but you can still see Central, North, Phoenix are still up, while West Valley is still up 10%, and Southeast Valley is kind of stabilized. So it's still about the same, which is kind of interesting to see. So some things that I like to look at personally outside of the Cromford report is I like to weekly look at how many active listings are in our MLS. And when I do that, I actually only strictly pull from Pinal and Maricopa County because those are the primary areas that we service here. And I've noticed a steady increase. So from about 3 weeks ago, I noticed there was probably just around 5,900 active listings. And today I pulled it up and there's 6,800 active listings, almost 6,900. So you can see we've actually increased quite a few. So on the listing side, you'll notice our listings are staying on the market for about a week or two now, instead of 3 or 4 days, depending on your price point. Anything below 400 still, I'm sure James and Justin can contest to that as well. And then obviously the big news of the week is Zillow pulled out of their buying situation. They released some more numbers yesterday. Controllable reported that they are actually 182 of the 252 Zillow active listings have had at least one price reduction of at least $41,000 or more.
Wow.
So they charged a 6% service fee to purchase the home, and they're reducing them over 8%, which means Zillow, if you do that math of the 252, they're about $7 million in the hole right now.
Yeah. Well, and I think what we've seen is their aggressive buying stance, right? That they've been so aggressive on what they've been. Actually, I know an employer, somebody who was an employee of a different iBuyer company who actually sold their house to Zillow because their offer came in like $60,000 higher than the other iBuyer company, and so that's crazy that they're offering that much more. But then they find themselves in situations with these price reductions.
What we've also noticed is, so a lot of these iBuyer home programs have kind of tightened up on their restrictions too. So like OfferPad, Open Door aren't necessarily paying extreme amounts over market value right now. And then they have a specific thing where they're talking about. So investors have been purchasing homes and then flipping them, quote unquote. So doing nothing to the home, flipping them to OfferPad, Open Door, because they will pay more for the property than what they purchased it for. Well, now Open Door specifically has a season ratio where whoever purchases a home must own that home for 60 days before they'll buy it.
Oh.
So there's like a season rule on them.
Right.
And then I'm not sure, Progress Residential is a huge rental company that's been purchasing homes even over market value for homes. Their buyer pool has tightened up. They're only purchasing homes between 1,500 and 2,400 square feet, has to be built after year 2000 or newer. And so and they're not they'll go as far down as Santan Valley, but not Copper Basin. So only parts of Santan Valley. So everyone's buyer pool is tightening up so tight. That's why we're feeling a lot of this, I believe, is what's going on, especially the homes sitting on the market. You're going to see days on market increase mainly because of these iBuyer homes sitting vacant with the price adjustments. So.
Well, and so right now, the institution and iBuyers have about a 12% market share in the Phoenix area. So now when you look at those homes that were never actually hitting the market, right? There were so many of those homes that were either on for a day or that they were being bought directly from. There's a lot of trading that happens of properties that we aren't seeing from from one institution to the other institution, and a lot of those things that we don't see. Well, all of those things are not all of those things, but many of those things are taking a break right now. So what does that mean? That means more inventory. That means more opportunity for our buyers out there, and so. When we had inventory around 9,000, 9,500, I felt that like it was a really good market, right? I felt like that was a market where where it was still great for sellers, but buyers still had a pretty good opportunity to go in and buy a home, and they didn't have, competing against 15 other offers, that there was, things were more reasonable at that point. And it kind of feels like by end of year, we might be backed up to that kind of a number. With inventory, with the seasonal slowdowns, and with those other things that take place in there. So it will be great to watch as we roll into 2022, that those opportunities for our buyers are getting better. And that, so if you've got a buyer who's put themselves on the shelf because they were frustrated, because they were fatigued, whatever that situation was, that this is that window right now, right? This is that window, because we all know that the real estate season begins again midway through January. And, and every year, those first couple of weeks, I watch my numbers in January. I'm like, oh no, what's happening? And then all of a sudden we turn the calendar to that third week or in January. And then all of a sudden, boom, everything starts going up again. So I'm like, oh, okay, good. It's the same thing that's happened every other year. I just got worried about it. So
I think interest rates will actually play into a lot of this as well, with everyone with the unknown of where they're going and where they're maybe projected to quote unquote go, and people seeing them rise. I think people are like, oh crap, maybe I made a wrong decision by waiting, and start to act now while they can still get the lower 3.25% interest rate. So I'm kind of seeing that on the Controllable report index graph as well. See that number, the buyer demand does slightly tick up a little bit, while inventory is still kind of staying the same. So I believe that's going to play a factor in our buyer demand this winter too, just because the unknown of interest rates. And if people continue to see the interest rates rise, they're going to be like, I got to go. So,
excellent. Yeah. So, well, Michelle, thank you so much. Thank you for filling in this week. Poor Michelle, I asked her 2 days ago, and she's always, I'm there for you.
In the hallway too, by the way. You were just like, oh, by the way.
Yeah. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So, Justin, thank you. It looks like that James must be prepping for another roundhouse kick. Must be doing his stretches.
He's over out here stretching right now. I think he might have split his pants, so we'll have to keep that off camera. But no, actually, we have our team training session that we do on Tuesdays and Thursdays that starts at 11. So we're getting that all set up so we can jump into that. And we got some good stuff here today from you ladies that we're going to be able to share with them as well. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Justin. We appreciate it. Amber, thank you as always. Glad you're here. And and for those guys, Sharon was on for a moment and introducing Camille Johnson, new to our team. So we're excited for that. And so we'll see what next week's Mark of the Moment looks like. We're going to be figuring that out on the fly from Inman, but we do appreciate everybody's time and look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.